What if I told you that you can beat 99% of students who study all day at their desk by putting in only a fraction of the effort they put in? Getting perfect marks depends way more on the methods you use to study than on how much effort you put in. And to learn the uncanny methods you can use to get a perfect, get ready with a notepad and suck all the juices out of the video. When the greatest of all times would want to write a book, an essay, or even start a big project, they typically do this first, because of the paramount significance it holds. If you're someone who studies whenever and wherever you feel like without a game plan, your study system is incorrect. This could also be why you miss those extra marks. Before an expert executes a strategy, they put all their energy towards preparation. This is what distinguishes the greatest of all time from the merely good enoughs. So, if an expert does this, why wouldn't you? And honestly, it's much easier to do than you think. Let's guide you through it. The outcome we want is clear, getting 100% on the exam. Now we only need to plan how we're going to do the inputs to get the result. First, you have to figure out the amount of work you have to put in. To do that, grab all your textbooks and add up their pages. Let's say you have a total of 1,000 pages. Now check your calendar to see how many days you have left before finals. If you have, for example, 100 days, divided by 2, you'll have 50 days, and within those days you need to complete 1,000 pages. That means 20 pages a day. You might be wondering, why do it in 50 days when you have 100? The answer is that you are lazy and can do much more than you think, and on top of that, you'd get 50 more days for repetition to strengthen your memory. Unusual circumstances might also occur, causing you to miss a day or two. So now you know what you have to do: 20 pages a day, or all the problems that come within those pages. Next, you have to figure out when and how you're going to do it, the process of taking action. Let's also do that. Go to your calendar app and add blocks to all the excess time you have besides school and other essential activities for studying. The big problem you'll face when doing this is that you won't be able to find time, and all the tasks will seem important to you. But if you can remove all the unnecessary activities right now and fill in those with study blocks instead, you'll score better than someone who doesn't do this, because the more work you do, the better results you get. Ask yourself, do I want this more than my high grades? Our goal here is to manage the time to complete our daily task. In this example, reading 20 pages. But if you can manage even more, that's a booster. Do more and get better results. Okay, now you've done the easiest part, planning. Now the hardest part is sticking to it. To be honest, studying for 30 minutes a day was still a good plan, but did you stick to it? That's what we're going to be focusing on for the rest of the video, how to stick to it and do it better and more efficiently. What if I told you the way you've been taught to focus your whole life was wrong? Bill Gates once famously conducted Think Weeks. He would completely isolate himself in a room twice a year without an internet connection. Locked inside, he could only read books and think big thoughts. During one of these moments, Gates wrote the Internet Tidal Wave Memo, turning Microsoft's attention toward Netscape Communications, a decision that would later increase their company valuation by billions. But isn't this weird? Why would an internet god try to take a break from the internet? Gates was smart enough to know that no matter how much technological advancement humanity achieves, we still have the brains of our ancestors. He knew that to get the maximum results, the brain needs to operate at its maximum capacity without distractions. In a world where everyone is distracted, thinking about what if John uploads a valuable video or sends an important message that we might miss if you adopt the focused path, doing your desired task intensely without a single interruption, the intensity of your work will overpower everyone. That being said, a fool would try to focus in a buzzing area, where attention is constantly pulled by the phone or the outside view of his window. But a genius would find a quiet room instead. Experts in fields do not resist their craving to use the phone by sheer willpower. They hide it away from their eyesight before the day, so they don't get the cravings in the first place. Doing that, they also save up their willpower to focus on the actual work. Key takeaways: set your study table in a distraction-free area, remove all distracting objects from your eyesight, and then focus intensely on solving problems. If you're studying before training this first, you'll never be able to get perfect marks. To share a story about my academic geek friend Albert, in middle school, after a long reign of mediocrity, he decided to focus on his grades, but try as he did, his grades wouldn't improve above 5%. He was pulling 6 hours a day, so what was he doing wrong? I mean, he wasn't defective. The dude is a programmer now. In a recent conversation when I asked him about the transformation, he said that his system was wrong. Bro was addicted to video games and it was sapping his memory, so he would study in a shallow manner, and in tests his memory was so weak that he would forget almost every formula. Each one of us owns an exceptional memory that no one knows how to use anymore. The effect technology had on us is dangerous. We are not trying to use and train our memory anymore because we can now access any information on Google with a click. On top of that, social media addictions are destroying your memory with information overload. A good memory is one of the core components for getting perfect marks in exams. The first step you must take is reducing social media usage, giving your mind a little free space to operate. Next, understand that your memory has been under assault for years, and accept the fact it'll take time for it to recover. Then you'd want to train your brain. Doing nothing complicated, just study in a quiet place, close the book after reading each page, and try recalling all the important ideas from the chapter. You do this enough times, your memory will start to improve. Ever had to go through this? You're sitting at your table doing problems, and when the problem gets complicated, you stand up and quit studying, even unconsciously. The reason for this is, your mind gets overwhelmed and starts seeking instant pleasure. As a result, you instead pick up your phone or go out for a walk. If this is your problem, fix your mindset. Running away from it never helps. A study shows that people improve more when they fail than when they succeed. In the moment of failure, scientists have monitored heightened brain activities in humans. So when you fail to do a problem, it's a 1% boost for your brain. Keep doing it again and again, and there are no limits to how fluid you'd get at it. Stay tuned to the end and I'll give you a course on how to increase your brain power and build a strong mindset for absolutely free. To put your performance on steroids, here's something you can use. Earplugs and earmuffs. You can get them under $20, and if you don't have a quiet room, using them together will reduce the noise to the greatest extent possible. A timer that you can use to track your study time so you know how much actual effort you put in. And lastly, focus on your diet. If you're really hardcore in studying, it's certain that your brain's gonna consume lots of calories, so increase your caloric intake. Grab anything you find close unless it's unhealthy, but remember not to fill your stomach because it can cause sleepiness. Use them correctly, and they'll help you gain efficiency and productivity. It's easier to study all day when you want to, but what to do in those moments when you just can't force yourself to study, when you don't feel like it? Some try fixing it by searching for motivational videos on YouTube, while others force themselves, only to find themselves daydreaming again. Because it's hard to focus on a cognitively demanding task like studying when you don't feel like it. Here's a step-by-step guide to staying committed to studying, rain or shine. First, take a moment to sit down and write down the reason you try to study hard. Write down your desire. Do you want to prove them wrong by getting full marks? Or maybe you're pursuing a career you desire. You want to do this because we humans aren't motivated to do things that are meaningless to us. After figuring that out, start obsessing over it and keep that in mind all day, because obsession beats motivation, and you'll be able to study even when you're not motivated, because you'll know that this isn't about making yourself feel better. It's about getting full marks regardless of how you feel. The next step is to make it attractive. If I tell you right now to clean your room, what's the likelihood that you're going to be motivated to do the task? Very low. But instead, if I tell you to do a certain training to unlock superhuman abilities, the likelihood of you being motivated is way higher, because superhuman abilities are more attractive than cleaning your room. So if studying feels like cleaning a room to you, you have to make it attractive so it feels like you're training for superpowers. Some ways to do that would be to highlight all the positive things about studying and hide the negatives. For example, think that learning strengthens the mind, and instead of seeing this as a burden, think of it as an opportunity to build your knowledge. The next thing you can do is reward yourself after finishing the task, because we tend to repeat activities that are rewarding rather than punishing. Other than diving into mountains of chocolates, another way to reward yourself is to track your progress. Seeing your progress visually can really work you up for putting in extra effort. One way to do this is by using a habit tracker.